With Rigo. Look at this. I got to keep the guy from dying. Look at this. It's 100 degrees out here, folks, and we're doing a video for you. All right, Rigo, we're going to get it right this time because we've screwed this scene up several times. Trust me. All right, so no, we're here at the property, Rigo's property in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he's got these amazing figs. Now, he's going to tell us how he grows these figs.
Okay. All right, so we're looking at the bucket, one of his buckets, and in this bucket you see that drip system. Can you tell us a little bit about why you do it this way?
Right, so definitely here in South Florida, you're definitely going to need a watering system if you're growing a lot of figs. You know, on the contrary, people say figs don't need a lot of water. Here in South Florida, that is a must. You must have water dripping on these figs at least twice a day, 20 minutes. You know, it requires a lot of water, but the figs do well like that.
All right, so Rigo, now a lot of people think that, as we talked earlier, that growing figs in South Florida is not something that makes a lot of sense because they need a lot of chill hours. Right. And that has to be so much cold weather in order for these figs to produce. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Well, from what I've searched on and studying these figs is actually that chill hours are really not that important when it comes to figs here in South Florida. Okay. So whether it gets cool or not, you're still going to get fruit.
All right, so that's good. Now, a lot of people talk about you need a wasp to do the pollination. Now, there's no wasp that I'm aware of in South Florida. So you got some kind of trick to make all these guys bloom, or what's with these figs?
There's really no tricks over here. So there's 4 types of figs that we could grow all around the world. So the ones that we are growing here and we're going to focus on are the common figs. The Smyrnas, which are the ones that you definitely need a wasp, and those are only found in California. You also got the San Pedros, which are the ones that produce a breva crop, and then they drop the main crop because the main crop needs a wasp. Right.
So we grow common figs in South Florida because these are the ones you want. You don't want to try to go on eBay and order a Smyrna fig and have it delivered to you because what's going to happen?
Because you need a wasp and your figs are just going to drop.
There you go.
I want to say is that the reason why I grow so many varieties is because I do like to study these figs, and I want to be able to provide to you what varieties actually do well here in South Florida. We got extensive heat, we got a lot of humidity, so some figs do work out and some don't. But first of all, let me explain to you the reason why I grow them in buckets. The reason why is because since I am studying the figs, I want to give them a couple of years to prove themselves in the full sun and in the full rain, see how they do in containers. After 2 years, that's when I decide if I'm going to put them in ground, if they did work out, or if I'm going to get rid of them. So far, it's been very good, and I found out a couple of varieties that do well here in South Florida, and I'm going to share them with Pepe so that he is able to tell everybody else what varieties are good for them. I have about 100 varieties here in this property.
100 different types of figs?
100 varieties.
And how many have you discarded?
I've discarded probably about 30 to 40 varieties. Well, this right here is your common brown turkey. And as you can see, it's doing very, very well. And it is in the ground, ladies and gentlemen. It is looking beautiful, greener than green, and full of fruit.
And you know what? Normally, when figs are in the ground, because of the problem with nematodes, which we'll talk about later, they don't usually look this good. And this brown turkey is a common fig that's sold in most nurseries down here in South Florida. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a nice little fig. But we've got so many others to share with you that you're going to be really impressed. Now, at the end of this video, we're going to share with you one of the things that's critical to having figs look this good when we get back. All right, so this is kind of a smaller fig. Is this just because it's younger, or?
No, this is actually because this is the way I've been training it. So last year I cut it really low.
Okay.
And because it was the first time I put it in ground, I did a little bit too short.
Okay, so this has to do with pruning. You kept it compact.
Right, exactly.
All right, well, we're going to talk a little bit about pruning later. So remind me, because I'll forget, and we don't have a script. This is all being done.
That's right, just like that.
So we're going to talk about pruning later, but this is Texas Everbearer?
That's correct.
Texas Everbearer, okay, and it's another one that does well in Florida.
Right, it's been doing pretty good. It's a small fig, but it's very good. If you like that strong sugar taste to it, there's a good one you could grow in ground.
All right, so what do we got here? What's this fella here? What do we got?
This right here is Socorro Black. It's a very sought after fig.
Wait. Socorro?
Black.
Socorro Black.
That's right.
It's a very sought after fig. All right, tell us all about this guy.
All right, so this is a great tasting fig. It just requires a little bit more TLC on it. If you want to grow some amazing figs, it just requires a little extra TLC.
See, got quite a few little
It's full of figs.
Little ones here. That's pretty cool. You know, the subject of growing the figs is a huge one, but a lot of times people will tell you, if you go to a page on the internet or you go to some people's websites, they tell you just grow them in full sun.
Right.
Now, we're in South Florida. We were out there a little while ago. It's intensely hot out there. The sun is just baking and cooking everything, right?
Yep.
You've done really well with these figs in South Florida, but what do you think about these, these comments and these recommendations to grow them in full sun?
Right, so I agree with a lot of what's said out there. However, here in South Florida, it's extremely hot. When people say plants need full sun, I don't think they're considering South Florida sun. I've noticed with my study so far that some varieties, some fig varieties, actually need filtered sun. I believe you mentioned that to me.
So like really bright location.
Right.
But a little bit of filtered light is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Right, that's correct. Okay. And that'll also help it get a little bit less water because they're kind of finicky when it comes to that. So if you want to, there's some varieties, for example, Socorro Black, Raspberry Latte, which is another amazing variety.
Raspberry Latte?
Raspberry Latte.
Oh,
that's one of the best.
That's to die for. And you grow that in South Florida?
I do have that one here in South Florida.
Really? You have that available?
And it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's an amazing fig. It's one of my favorites, actually. And those require filtered sun and a lot less water, so that the fig actually doesn't split on you. The leaves stay looking great, because or else they will droop really fast, faster than any other varieties.
All right, now we talked a little bit about those nematodes, and we talked about the soil food web and how we want to make sure we have healthy soil and we feed the soil, right? But people are going to fertilize with synthetics, and people are going to fertilize with organics, and some people are going to fertilize with a combination of the two, right?
Right.
What kind of fertilizer do you use on these trees?
Once they get into this 5 gallon, I like to use a lot of organic fertilizer, like fish meal,
fish emulsion,
bone meal, all those things. I also use a lot of molasses.
Molasses? Okay.
Molasses. I use what do you call that white salt, Epsom salt, and things like that. So those are the type of things I use when they're in 5 gallons.
So how many times a year, or I should say, how often do you fertilize the ones that are in the containers? Like how often?
Every 2 weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks.
So bi-monthly, so
right.
Twice a month.
Exactly.
And just a little bit, right?
Right. Well, if it's organic, I do the liquid fish, liquid molasses, a mix of all those things.
Have you noticed any difference with which is better? Like, is organic seem to give you better results?
Well, organic is a little bit slower. It makes the plant grow a little bit slower, but eventually the figs are better and everything.
Okay. Now, pruning the trees. If you prune these the wrong way, what happens?
Well, then the branches could grow and cross each other, and you don't want that. Okay. So you really have to look at the nodes, where the branches are pointing, and that's how you make your cut, depending on where the branches are pointing, so that they could grow outwards. For example, this tree, where I made the cut right here last year. And then the branches, I made sure that the first nodes closest to the cut were aiming outwards. And then you get this result, instead of it going inwards.
Right, right. That's you want to have a lot of airflow throughout the plant, because without the airflow, you're going to end up with all kinds of fungus problems and all kinds of places for bugs to hide. And
a lot of rust.
A lot of rust. Now, talk about rust. This is, sometimes you'll order a plant and it'll come in the mail, or you're picking up at a nursery, and it's got all this stuff on there.
Yep.
And
which is normal. Don't let it scare you.
It shouldn't scare you. It is what it is. Now, sometimes it gets so bad that all the leaves fall off.
That's right.
And you're going to lose all your leaves. But guess what? 3 weeks later, it's all flushing out again, and it's looking beautiful.
As long as you keep on fertilizing and taking care of it, you're going to do good.
So it's pretty much normal down here in the south. So don't freak out when you see some rust on your leaves.
Yep.
What do you do to stop it? Is there anything you can do to stop the stuff from spreading?
Right. So it's recommended that you can use copper. You spray it with copper, especially on the bottoms.
So when you get a fig tree from the nursery, if you happen to buy one and it's real tall and there's no growth on the bottom, what happens when you cut the top?
It'll start wanting to branch out.
Right. So at the top of the fig, this up here, or any tree actually, not just the fig, but any tree up here, this is dominant. So this is the dominant part of the tree. This is the part that actually tries to inhibit growth below. It actually tries to inhibit the below growth. So when you trim it up here, it takes away that inhibitor and it allows the bottom to begin to grow. So that's called apical dominance, apical dominance, and that's something you should look up. Apical dominance. We'll do a video about that in the future. Now, what happens in the winter when it's kind of not? We have one of those Florida.
Well, our winters is like so
Right, well,
short.
Exactly, our winters are so short. But
Yeah.
let's say some of our people watching are up further north,
Right.
and they lose all their leaves and they actually look like they're sleeping, but
Right. There's normal. Some
taking
people
a
think
little-
that they're dying.
taking a short nap, right?
You know? Yeah.
They're not
So
dying or anything. They're just going to come back when the weather warms up.
Yeah.
But do you fertilize during that time of the year?
I don't.
You
There's
don't?
no reason and no need to water it either. So you could turn off your watering system and, just don't worry about it because it just stays cool enough where it doesn't require a lot of water.
Okay, that
You
sounds
know?
good. Now, what about figs that sometimes if you get a lot of rain and you're getting these beautiful figs and it's raining, do they split or do they spoil?
They split or spoil.
They split or
Right,
spoil depending on
right.
how much rain you've got.
That's right.
And some are better than others, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so
So those are ones that I say they need a little bit extra TLC.
a little extra TLC. All right, that's beautiful. All right, so I think we've given them a lot of information. What do you think?
I think so
Do you think
too.
we should wrap this up?
Yeah. If they have any other questions, they could just leave you a comment down below or
All right.
contact you and
That sounds
Help
great,
them
too.
out.
Now, listen. So if you want to get in touch with Rigo, what's the best way to reach you?
so I own a website called fakedatabase.com or fake database, and you can reach me out on there on the contact form.
Okay.
think that's the best way.
Fig database, and what's the purpose of Fig database? What are you doing?
Well, I created that site for everybody that's in the community or in the niche of fakes and stuff, so
Right.
they could, help each other out with ideas on what works in their location, their zone, their climate, and everybody helps each other out, contributing information and sharing it
Right.
with others.
So, like, I'm a member of Fig database, so I have my little profile picture there, and then people can go, and it's free, right? You can
Right,
just join
it's free.
you can just join Fig database,
Right.
and then you could share photographs.
You
of
could
your
you could
figs.
upload your pictures,
Can
descriptions. You
ask-
could rate them.
Ask questions and stuff to the community.
You could talk and send messages back and forth with other
Okay,
members.
so it's a good way for anybody who's just getting started with figs to have a nice community of people, and usually people that are part of these communities are very helpful, and they want to promote their hobby. So I encourage you to go visit Fig Database and check it out. I've been there, and it's a great website, and it's getting better every day. That's for sure. So like we said, we're going to wrap it up. If you have anything else that you want to say, I want to thank you, though.
Could I give a shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Give a couple of shout-outs. Go
All
ahead.
right, I would like to give a shout out to ourfakes.com, which is a website, a forum I joined a couple of years ago, and they're the ones that actually have helped me acquire this massive collection and taught me all the things I know today.
Very good.
So,
Yeah,
I
our figs.
appreciate
I've
that.
been there. They're also on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
they're
they
on
are.
Facebook. They're on
Yeah.
Facebook. So it's ourfigs.com, right?
That's right.
And then there's figdatabase.com. Those are
Right.
the ones you want to check out.
Yep.
And a lot of good people there. We said we were going to wrap it up, but man, I just can't conclude this. It's just so much fun.
You
having this
remember when you
conversation.
came the other day and
No,
you tasted that fig? You said it was really good.
So yeah, so here's
I
the
got
thing,
an air
right?
layer one for that.
So we really wanted to do a video forever, and we finally got around to doing this. And I tasted a fig here a couple days ago, and it was called Barry Black.
Barry
Is that right?
Black, that's right.
Barry Black. And let me tell you, I thought I knew figs. I thought I grew the best figs in Florida. And then I meet this guy, and we got a Barry Black, and it's this little fig,
It's a
little
small
bit
fig.
darkish, purplish, blackish little fig. And we open it up, cut it, and
Super
look at
red
it,
inside.
and the color is like jam color, and it has a jam consistency. And
Yep.
I eat this thing, and I can't stop talking about it now for what, 3-4 days. I
Yeah.
told my wife, and she's mad at me because I didn't bring her one. I go, I ate the last one. What can I do? But it is. what
It's a
it
really
is.
good
It's a
fig.
very good fig. And then
Yeah.
there's another one that you told me about that now. You
It's
tell
me or
me
not.
it's even better.
It's me or not.
Is me or not?
Yeah.
And another one, Col de Nam
Blanc.
Blanc. which
Those
is-
are artists that actually do good over here in South Florida.
Believe it or not, we can grow some amazing figs in
Yeah.
South Florida.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to my channel. Stay tuned. Oh, by the way, you have a channel on YouTube as well?
I do have a channel.
He has a channel on YouTube, so you got to check him out. And then also make sure you go to ourfigs.com and go to figdatabase.com and keep in touch. Hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel. Next time we do a video, we're going to eat figs with you. Okay? We're going to make you drool because we're going to
That's
have
right.
a video where you and me are going to sit down with the whole family here and we're going to eat figs, right?
That's right.
All right, so that's a promise. How long do you think that's going to take? 6 months?
I don't know. I actually have a couple of figs already putting out some main figs. So,
Okay.
the thing is that sometimes they ripen really fast.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's
It's hard to make a video when
It's
you're.
hard to make a video when the figs are
yeah.
ripening and then we got to get together and do
Yeah.
it, so it's not easy. But we'll try our best and we'll do a couple of videos with some tasting. Thanks everybody. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out the recommendations that we gave you here on the website. Peace.